I'm pleased to have Jacky Dilfer, the Executive Director of Business Finance Capital, joining us today for a Coleman Conversation. Jacky, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
These numbers are impressive, Jacky. Over 1,000 commercial real estate transactions representing $5 billion with the B in loans in California's small business Main Street entrepreneurs. Done a great job in creating generational wealth for those entrepreneurs and creating good jobs for their employees. Obviously, a very passionate supporter of Main Street and SBA lending. So I've known you now in a couple of different settings. So thank you so much for joining us. First of all, let's start with the easy one. What do you do as the Executive Director for Business Finance Capital?
Sure. Well, Business Finance Capital is a CDC or Certified Development Company, and we are headquartered in Los Angeles, downtown. And we were established in 1990. And in the last 14 years, we've experienced explosive growth. And what I do is run the organization from top to bottom. So I manage the recruiting, the origination, processing, underwriting, closing, and servicing departments.
I'm always fascinated by the story of how we end up in our careers and our current position. How did you get into small business lending?
Sure. Well, growing up in the Bay Area, for most of my high school and college life, I always thought I would end up in tech, being in Silicon Valley. And when I graduated in 2002 from San Jose State, there was a recession in the tech economy and no one was hiring.
Right.
And at that time, interest rates dropped to, it was about 4% that year. Mm-hmm. And my father suggested that I try working for a bank as a loan officer. And reason being is that I would learn about many different types of businesses and what they do. And from there, he thought I could figure out what I wanted to do for a living. And that's how I ended up in this industry.
And you and I are both Southern Californians. I'm a big California supporter, as I know you are. And tell me about Southern California and Los Angeles economy from your perch being on dealing directly with LA-based businesses.
Sure. Well, LA is recently and often is hit hard with a lot of things. We've had the fires, we recently had the raids, and we had some changes with the new Trump administration that may not have benefited a lot of businesses that we work with. However, interestingly enough, and what I've seen over my 20-year career, is that the SBA market seems to weather these storms. And in a good market, we're still busy. And in a bad market where I don't want to use the word bad, but in a market where the economic outlook is uncertain, we've managed to still help a lot of businesses. And I think it's a testament to how strong the small and medium-sized business community is in Los Angeles and all of California. Our borrowers have a lot of grit and an instinct to survive any situation that goes against them.
In your career, Jacky, you've just seen tremendous challenges for the California economy, Southern California economy. As you said, you started with the tech bubble, Great Recession, COVID, and now the uncertainty and challenges with Trump 2.0. But tell me about, there's certain things that we have that are very interesting for your entrepreneurs. And what I was fascinating about is you mentioned that they have a lot of grit and their ability to meet those challenges. Tell me, over the course of your career, how has that entrepreneur mindset changed? And do you see that they are much better suited to weather anything that's thrown at them today than they were, say, when you started?
I would say no. I think the business community has been resilient ever since I've been in this industry. When I
Oh, that's a
relocated
great
from,
answer. That's a great answer. Good for you.
yeah, yeah, it's really amazing. And, I think the business community is accustomed to having unexpected changes at all times happen in their industries or with the local economies and what the governments propose. And they just continue to fight through it.
Last year, you were the LA County's top 504 lender at $285 million. Tell me about your approach to 504 lending and specifically, again, focus on the economy and the strength of our commercial real estate market.
Yes. So, our entire team prides itself on really focusing on the marketing of this great product that we offer. Low long-term interest rates, low equity requirement, usually no additional collateral is required for our business owners. And at the end of the day, our business owners, they need a place to operate their business. It's the most important thing to them, their businesses and their families. So whether the market is considered hot or cold, these businesses need to they want to stabilize their occupancy costs, and they want to ensure that they're not having to answer to a landlord for the long term. And they continue to be aggressive and not worry about interest rates, not worry about valuations. If they find a building that is going to suit their operation, they're buying it. And that's what I've seen as a common denominator with all of the borrowers that we work with.
That is a great description. These are not real estate investors. These are not speculators. These are people who want to lock in their cost as a cost of doing business for their operation to sustain their operation going forward. A great observation. What other type of lending products do you offer?
Currently, we offer the 7A, formerly known as the Community Advantage Loan, up to $350,000. And we embarked on that program about 8 months ago. And so far, it's been quite successful.
Good.
And we're happy to have helped some of these really small businesses get startup capital as well as capital for operations and other needs.
Good for you. Do you get involved with any local or state lending programs?
No.
So you're focused exclusively on the 504. What is your outlook for SBA lending? Well, what I particularly enjoyed what you said was SBA has been there consistently, specifically when putting words in your mouth, businesses and the economy need it. I'm referring back to the Great Recession and obviously COVID. And SBA has also stepped up now. Give me an projected outlook, 3 to 5 years in the future, on how you see the strength of SBA continuing to help Main Street.
Yeah, I believe that the program will remain strong. I believe that
Good.
it'll continue to grow. There are a lot of great lenders out there, not only in California, but nationwide, that are supporting and marketing this program. And I know that despite some changes that recently occurred at SBA, this SBA program overall really is the key to helping small businesses start and grow in this country. And I believe that the government, regardless of who's in office, understands that and will continue to do so.
All right, I'm gonna ask you one tough question, so I'm gonna let you think about it. If you were administrator for one day, what would be the one change that you would want to see SBA implement? And you only get one. You only get one.
Only one.
Only one.
Let's see. I would probably allow lenders, if they desired, to lend nationwide.
Good answer. I like that.
Yes, I think that a lot of the more active lenders across the country can do a whole lot of good in some of the states that are less active in the industry. I think there would be a huge benefit to small businesses across the country if some of the more efficient, experienced, and larger lenders could help out in those markets.
I agree with you. The how small business operates with the internet much more differently today than 20, 30 years ago. Definitely they're nationwide, even worldwide, on how they operate. And a lender should not be constrained to old boundary lines when you can certainly have as much of an expertise in financing a business in New York City when you know the industry, when you know the entrepreneur, you know their vendors, and you people would refer them. I agree with you that should be a lender decision and not an SBA decision. I concur very much with that. Um, what? Tell me more about your operation. Uh, how do you manage your business?
Great, sure. I always consider our operation to be very similar to that of an active bank without
Okay.
the depository, of course. And we split our organization into various departments that include origination, processing, underwriting, closing, and servicing. And when we recruit, we look for individuals that are people and are marketing oriented and customer service oriented, because it's most important to us that our clients and our lending partners, vendors, and referral sources are getting the highest level service possible in this business. And for anyone who's coming in, they're trained heavily on that. And we understand that there's a lot of competition in the market, especially where we are in LA. There's not a lot of inventory, but there's a lot of potential buyers. And we need to act fast. We need to be proactive in spotting any issues when it comes to a loan package and handling everything up front so that we can close on time and in an efficient manner. Um, so we really focus on that. But on the other hand, we're highly regulated. We're audited very frequently by the SBA, and and actually our the another important factor of how we operate is that we want to ensure that our files and everything we're presenting in our files is, and I hate to use the word perfect, but that's what we say because it really has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Every I has to be dotted, every T has to be crossed, and we really pride ourselves on the fact that we take this very seriously. We ensure that although we're operating fast and efficiently, we are also auditing everything we do on the back end to ensure that we're in compliance at all times.
Not only did I enjoy listening to that answer, Jacky, I could hear the passion in your voice on meeting the customer, the needs of the customer, and to do it correctly. So I applaud you on that. You do not have these type of numbers or have the type of reputation you have in Southern California if you don't know what you're doing and you pay attention to the knitting, the logistics, and making sure it's perfect. And I there's nothing wrong with that term, and good for you for working to attain that. Let's end the conversation with this. What specialty lending niches do you feel that you excel at? And one of the reasons, I mean, there's a reason why you're the number one 504 lender in LA County. But you also have the expertise in the program overall. But what niches do you particularly pride yourself in terms of funding?
Sure. So our portfolio does consist of the entire gamut. We finance everything from multi-purpose properties to hotels, car washes, gas stations, and self-storage and everything else. However, I do feel that we're very good at financing some of the more small going into medium-sized businesses
Okay.
that need multiple spaces for their operations or larger spaces, which has brought our average deal size up quite a bit. And I would say that that's really one of our specialties and one of our strengths. Larger
Good.
companies that need multiple facilities for their operations.
And that's a great niche to be in because you're dealing with established entrepreneurs and now you're working with them to take to the next level. And that is certainly an underserved market for access to capital. So good for you in that.
Yes.
I'm going in looking at your LinkedIn profile, and I know you personally, you're involved with a number of great outreach in the LA community. I'm going to let you, we're going to finish the conversation. Which one, and there are so many, I'm not going to list them all other than you're very community oriented. Tell me the one you enjoy working with and how that's helped you in your career.
Sure. I'm going to have to mention two because both have really made a big impact on my career and just, my life as a whole. And the first one would be the Youth Champions nonprofit that I'm involved with. Um, Jack Klein, who is a dear friend, associate, and colleague of mine, started and founded the organization a few years ago. And it has helped hundreds of at-risk inner city youth get into universities and, just learn basic life skills that everyone needs to know.
Good for you.
And to see these kids flourish just really makes everything that we do for the organization worth it. And secondly, I'm on the board of the Alta Med Foundation, and this is an extraordinary organization that has brought high quality healthcare to lower income areas. And that's near and dear to my heart because um, I'm in LA. I see the struggles of people and I know that this community really needs that.
Oh, and good for you. I think both of those are outstanding. I love them both. And I'm very interested also in rural healthcare and healthcare availability is that's a challenge. And good for you for working on solutions to serve that population to make sure that we all have access to good healthcare. So good for you, Jacky. I have enjoyed this conversation. You've done a great job, and keep it up. And thank you for joining us on A Coleman Conversation. Jacky Dilfer, Executive Director, Business Finance Capital in Los Angeles. Thanks, Jacky.
Thanks.